Good day, Sir Salapco. I am Princess Ashley Gonzalez from STEM 12R and this is my synthesis video. Let's first start with my three takeaways from the first module, which is fiction. My first takeaway is that short stories require the same comprehension as long ones. They are not simply short stories. A literary work's depth or complexity may not always be directly correlated with its length. Short stories have the potential to be just as intellectually challenging and emotionally compelling as longer stories. Longer stories may have greater room for character development, narrative complexity, and world building, but the difficulty of short stories is in telling a thorough and impactful story in a short amount of words. In addition, like longer stories, short stories also explore deep issues and provide important messages. A short narrative's length can also increase its effects because every word becomes more significant in determining the reader's comprehension and emotional response to the story. An example of this is the short story we have read entitled They All Rest in Peace by Joshua Lim Saw. I personally liked how this story portrays the heartbreaking consequences of lack of mental health awareness. The characters in the story were all confused as to why Madeline suddenly took her own life, when it is indicated in the story that her depression isn't evident because she is very well off, had loving parents, and lovely friends. It shows how scary depression it is and how it can result to worse situations like suicide if it is not tended to properly. My second takeaway is that writing a short story requires the skill of concise storytelling. As seen in the stories we've read, the writers of the stories carefully chose their words and organized their narratives to deliver a powerful and memorable message in a limited amount of words. This is true for how the characters in a short story are presented as well, since writers must employ effective strategies to show the traits, motives, and development of their characters within a condensed space. The ability to create a powerful impact with fewer words can make short stories an intellectually stimulating form of art. Short stories are a distinct and valuable form of literature, capable of offering unique and powerful storytelling experiences. Paul S. de Guzman's short story named Prosody Lesson was one I enjoyed as it demonstrates how the couple strives to determine the most appropriate tone or expression to use when letting each other know that there is someone else. It is one of the shortest stories I've ever read, yet it is one of the stories that interests me. In the end, they were unable to inform one another that there was another person. It is also very detailed as the couple's third parties were also shown in the story. My third takeaway is that to fully comprehend some narratives in the field of storytelling, a variety of strategies adapted to each narrative's particular complexity are necessary. The short story At the Train Station by Celeste Flores Coscolluela served as a perfect illustration of this complicated nature. The story's structure and events looked scattered and dispersed when I first saw it, which left me struggling with bewilderment. I eventually saw the need for the narrative to be organized in a chronological manner as I proceeded in my quest for understanding the story. This helped me later on understand the story and its message. Overall, I learned that each story has its unique way of revealing its truths, which makes it more interesting. My appreciation for storytelling has been further enhanced by this lesson, which has inspired me to read in the future with a keener eye and an open mind in order to discover the hidden deeper meanings. I also learned to carry with me the important realization that comprehending stories necessitates a readiness to use various techniques and the dedication to dig deep into the intricate details all throughout the story. Now, let's move on to the three lessons I learned from the second module, which is poetry. My first takeaway is that when we read a poem, we should be giving it our full attention, reading it slowly and reading it aloud numerous times. Poetry is known for its use of figurative language, symbolism, and complex word choices that demand close attention to understand the intended meanings. We can better understand the poet's use of imagery, metaphors, and other poetic devices if we read a poem carefully and with complete focus. By taking our time reading a poem, we may appreciate the language, comprehend the emotions being expressed, and identify any underlying themes or messages that may be layered throughout the poem. This holds true for all of the poems that we have read, but I'll use the poem Softness by Joel M. Toledo as an example of when we use this technique. We had to read the poem several times before we realized that the persona's father suffers from problems due to old age, which explains why, whenever the persona recalls his recollections of his father when he was younger or when his father conditions hadn't become worse, his father would ask him to repeat what he had said. My second takeaway is that when we read poetry, we should read it without bias and without imposing our own assumed meanings upon it. Because we run the danger of missing the nuances and complexity that the poet was trying to get through when we approach a poem with preconceived beliefs or assumptions about its meaning. Reading objectively entails keeping an open mind when reading, being open to different readings, and letting the poem speak for itself. By putting away our preconceived notions, we make room for a greater comprehension of the poem's original meaning. We can appreciate the poet's artistic vision, comprehend their personal experiences, and learn about their outlook on life and the human condition thanks to this sympathetic connection. For instance, we used this technique when we read the poetry Origami by Marjorie Evasco. When we initially read it, we assumed that the couple in the poem had written a letter of breaking up, but this was untrue. It turned out that they were actually just two lovers who were in a long distance relationship. The crane was just merely employed as the message's messenger. But when the letter is opened and read, the paper will be clear and empty because the lover who was supposed to receive it already has accepted the message. My last takeaway in this module is that in every poem, the title matters. Readers can learn from the title what to anticipate from the poem and how to approach it. The poem's tone can also be established by its title, which can convey whether it is serious, lighthearted, humorous, or satirical. This makes it easier for readers to understand the poem's general attitude and mood. The title may allude to the poem's main theme, message, or contention, thus indicating its meaning. This can make it easier for readers to comprehend the poem's meaning and intent. In addition, numerous interpretations are possible for the title, suggesting several approaches to reading and comprehending the poetry. This may inspire readers to reflect on many viewpoints and possible interpretations of the poetry and to engage with it more thoroughly. Lastly, the title can set the poem's organization, form, and content. This can make it easier for readers to understand the poem structure and to recognize important components like themes, symbols, and images. One of the poems we've read, Edith Tiempo's Bonsai, illustrates this point very well. Bonsai are plants that are restrained from going to their full potential. The poem's message is that love can be simplified and in the form of small things that one can give to others. Since this love has been reduced to a size that can be given, it is comparable to a bonsai, which is a smaller version of an enormous tree that can be given to other people. Next is my top 3 takeaways from the third module, which is about drama. Firstly, through circumstances and characters that are relatable, these dramas demonstrate how social issues are still present and how it affects the people. Drama is essential to society because it shows how social issues persist and have a significant impact on people's lives by using relevant situations and characters. Dramas work as a mirror that reflects the complexities of human experiences, giving spectators the chance to obtain a deeper understanding of the difficulties and conundrums that people and communities encounter through depicting realistic circumstances and relevant characters. These theoretical portrayals not only encourage audience members to think about socio-economic processes at work, but also generate empathy and an emotional connection with them, helping to spread knowledge of these social issues. The audience are forced to examine their own views, attitude, and behavior as a result of witnessing the characters' challenges, victories, and tragedies. This prompts thought-provoking conversations and may lead to beneficial change. This capacity to face painful truths conversation, fosters critical thinking, and builds a more empathetic understanding of various viewpoints. Dramas have become a crucial tool for promoting social awareness and developing a kind and socially conscious society. Similar to one of the dramas we read, Pilipinas Kung Mahal with all the overcoat, in which two best friends played the parts of those who like to post or write about anything to purposefully mislead others. And since most people don't do background checks and just believe what they want to see, they end up believing those fake news and continue to further spread it. Which illustrates how spreading misinformation can have huge negative consequences. This is one of the biggest problems in the Philippines today. Secondly, is that acting is very important when portraying the characters and their situations in a drama. Proper acting in a drama is crucial as it allows its actors to effectively convey the emotions, motivations, and complexities of the characters, bringing them to life in a way that resonates with the audience and enhances their understanding of the situations presented in the play. Like when we performed a dramatic reading of one of the plays, Ang Paglilitis ni Mang Serapio by Paul Dumol, it was important to act the lines in the appropriate tone and facial expressions in order to be able to touch people's emotions and make the point of the narrative clear. In the end, despite the fact that we were only performing a dramatic reading, we were still able to convey the characters' feelings and how the injustice systems in the Philippines have really affects the society, especially the marginalized sectors. And lastly, it is important to understand the drama's purpose and intentions to what it wants to convey to its viewers or readers. Understanding the purpose and intentions of a drama is essential as it enables both the creators and the audience to grasp the underlying messages, themes, and social commentaries woven into the narrative. By comprehending the drama's intended message, viewers or readers can engage on a deeper level, appreciating the artistic choices made by the playwright or director, and gaining insights into the human condition, societal issues, and moral dilemmas the drama seeks to explore. This understanding fosters a more profound connection between the work and its audience, encouraging meaningful discussions and reflections that can enrich personal perspectives and cultural discourse. Moreover, it allows actors and production teams to align their efforts towards a unified vision, resulting in a more impactful and thought-provoking theatrical experience. The author's intended message must be understood, much like it was in Paul Dumol's drama Ang Paglilitis ni Mang Serapio. The purpose of the author's drama was to illustrate the unjust system of the Philippines and how those positions of authority continue to abuse their position. Now that we're done with my takeaways in each module, I will now be discussing my 3 takeaways from class lectures, including the activities and the reading and viewing materials that we did. My first takeaway is from elements of a literary experience. Understanding the elements of a literary experience is crucial since it enhances the reading or literary consumption process as a whole. These factors, which include the plot, characters, settings, theme, and style, all have an impact on the relevance, depth, and emotional impact of a literary work. By supporting readers in their analysis, interpretation, and enjoyment of the text's artistic and intellectual value, understanding these elements fosters a better connection and engagement with the work. Additionally, it enables readers to recognize various literary techniques and the author's goals, resulting in a deeper and a more pleasant understanding experience. My second takeaway is from elements of fiction. Knowing the elements of fiction in literature is important because it enables readers to grasp the underlying structures and components that make up a fictional work. These elements include the plot, character, setting, point of view, theme, and style, among others. Understanding these aspects helps readers to comprehend the story, connect with characters, appreciate the author's craft, identify themes and messages, analyze the elements that helps readers grasp the underlying themes and messages the author conveys, critical analyzation of the work, and engagement in discussions and interpretations. In essence, understanding the elements of fiction enriches the reading experience, enabling readers to derive greater meaning and enjoyment from the literary works they encounter. Lastly is from the sandbox, choose your songs or personas. I learned how important it is to know the background of the story and where it came from. As for the song I chose the song Minsan Ang Minahal Ay Ako by Celeste Legaspi. Upon hearing it, I thought it was a song about romance wherein your significant other falls out of love and now you're just holding on to the memories of when he still loves you. But turns out it was from a musical named Katie. However, the song is about singers that are well known and adored by their followers, but who felt easily replaced by the new singer when those followers start supporting the new singers. Through this, I also discovered that regardless of who sang it, how it was sung, or the context in which it was delivered, the situation of the persona would remain unchanged. This was a mistake I made in the sandbox. Personally, I know that I will come across a variety of stories that may potentially teach me important lessons and deepen my understanding of the world when I start my college adventure or even as I go through life and get older. I may better understand the messages and intentions of the authors by studying literature in depth and getting to the heart of it. This comprehension allows me to recognize the complex layers of the various circumstances and points of view that they effectively portray in their works. Our minds are open to the beauty of life through literature, which reveals novels and unknown situations that may have previously seemed foreign to us. It serves as a mirror, reflecting the complexity of the human experience and allowing us to empathize with the emotions, hardships, and victories of characters that are relatable to our own experiences. In a significant sense, literature invites us to put ourselves in the shoes of others, fostering empathy and fostering a deeper understanding of the variety of human experiences. These literary gems become windows into various cultures, history, and viewpoints when I come across them throughout my academic and personal life. This enriches my mind and soul and helps me become a more compassionate and enlightened person. Additionally, the lessons help me learn useful skills like critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, and effective communication. These abilities are crucial for my personal development because they enable me to analyze complicated problems, come up with creative solutions, and eloquently articulate my thoughts and ideas. Since the development of empathy, understanding, and cultural appreciation through creative writing fosters the development of a more compassionate and inclusive society, the knowledge I received in this class can help me become a more valuable member of society. That concludes my video synthesis of the things we have learned and discussed in 21st century literature. Thank you for watching.